In this problem, we're asked to add two mixed numbers. I prefer to do the addition of mixed numbers in a vertical format, so I work with whole numbers separately from the fractions. I find it easier. So I'm going to write this as 5 and a fifth. Underneath it, I'm going to put 4 and a third. And I know that when I add unlike signs to take the sign of the larger number, the larger number is positive. So I know the result is going to be positive, but really what I'm doing is I'm taking away this number from this number, but the overall sign is positive. So I'm just going to write up here a subtraction of these quantities, but the end result is going to be positive. We need to change 1/3 and 1/5 into equivalent fractions with the same denominator. That's fifteenths. So 3 times 5 is 15, so I multiply the numerator by 3. 5 times 3 is 15, so I multiply the numerator by 15. I want to subtract this fraction from this fraction. I can't do that because this is bigger than 3. So I borrow, make this a 4. And what I borrowed is a 1 written as 15 over 15. And that 1, when added to the 3/15, is 18/15. I'm now able to subtract the fractions. 5/15 from 18/15 is going to be 13/15. I'm going to come back and subtract the whole numbers, but 4 from 4 is 0. So the answer is a positive 13/15. Here we're asked to subtract two fractions by the definition of subtraction. That is, add the opposite. So 3/4. When I see the subtraction symbol, I change it to addition, but I have to follow with by taking the opposite of the number that is following the subtraction symbol. So the opposite of a negative is a +7/9. Now, since these are just fractions, not mixed numbers, I add them in a horizontal fashion versus vertical. We need a common denominator, and I think that denominator is 36. 4 times 9 is 36, so we need to take 9 times the numerator. 9 3s are 27. 4 times 9 is 36, so we multiply the numerator also by 4, that's 28. And then when we add fractions with the same denominator, we keep the denominator and we add the numerators. And that's going to give me an overall result of 55 over 36. And I'm looking at the question. It says type a fraction, an integer fraction or mixed number. That is a fraction. It happens to be an improper fraction, so that should be an acceptable answer. This problem is preparing us for a later chapter on graphing. We're given choices for x. X could either be 0, 2, or -2. And we're asked to calculate the value of -1/2 x for each of those x values. So what we need to do is in the expression -1/2 x, replace the x by a 0. And if we do that, we could do the calculation. The answer is 0. In a later chapter, this -1/2 x would be called the y value. So if x is 0, y happens to be 0. Let's go to part 2. Replace the x in the expression. Replace the x. And notice I'm using parentheses by a 2. Do the calculation. The 2's cancel, so I'm left with a -1. In what they call ordered pair format, an ordered pair format is parentheses, the x value first, the y value second. That's an ordered pair. Parentheses is telling me that. So in part 2, if x is 2, y is -1, that is the ordered pair. Lastly, in the expression -1/2 x, again, it's safety, replace the x by a parentheses, and inside the parentheses puts minus 2. When we multiply two negatives, we get a positive, and 1/2 times 2 is a 1. So what we know is that when the x value is -2, the y value is +1.